Hi, seventh graders. Welcome to lesson 10.4a sectors, where we're going to be looking at how to find the area of a sector of a circle. You're going to need to open up your notes to lesson 10.4a and also take out your calculator and a pencil. First of all, let's talk about what is a sector. When it comes to a circle, a sector is part of a circle. You could have that part be half of a circle, or it could be 1/4 of a circle. It could be 2/3 of a circle, or even 3/4 of a circle. Notice that all of these sectors are shaded so that you can tell the exact part that we're talking about. Okay, let's get started. On number 1, we're asked to find the area of the sector below. And we can see that that green sector that's shaded is half of the circle. So I'm going to begin by just writing down that I notice that this is half of a circle that's shaded. And that's the sector we're talking about. Now, we don't have a formula for finding area of a sector of a circle, but we do have a formula for finding the area of an entire circle. And that's this formula that's right here. So we're going to be using this formula to help us out. So first thing we're going to do is to find the area of the entire circle. So we're going to start off by area equals pi times the radius squared. And it looks like we're given the radius of 10 inches. So I'm going to put 10 right here for radius. And then I'm going to use my calculator and find out what is 3.14 times 10 squared. And your calculator is going to tell you that that is 314. And so that's the area of the entire circle. But we only want to know the area of the part that's shaded, and that's this green part right here. And we said before that that's half of the circle. So if the area of the entire circle is 314, we could divide by 2 to get half of the circle. And if we divided by 2, the area would be 157 inches squared, and that would be the area of the green shaded section. It would be half of the area of the whole circle. Now, this is one way of doing this. The other way is noticing that this is half of a circle, and so I could figure out what is half of the area of the entire circle. What is half of 314? And so that would be simply 1/2, and I know that of means multiply, so I could take 1/2 times 314 on my calculator using the fraction button, and that's also going to give me 157 square inches. So 2 different ways to do this. I could find the entire area and divide by 2 because it's broken into 2 parts, or I could find half of the entire area of the circle. Let's try another one. Go ahead and move on to number 2. Here the diameter that we're given for the circle is 16 inches. Notice that that is diameter. Okay, we want to find the area of the sector, the blue shaded part. And notice that the circle is broken up into 4 equal parts. So that shaded part right here is, right here, this is 1/4 of the entire circle. Wow, I don't know what happened to that 4. Let's try that again. 1/4 of the entire circle. Okay, remember, we don't have an area to find we don't have a formula to find the area of a sector, but we do have a formula to find the area of the entire circle. So we always start with that first. So let's find area of the entire circle. Area equals pi times radius squared. Now the diameter is 16, so the radius is going to be half of that. It would be 8. So I'm going to put 8 right in there. Now I'm going to use my calculator. Pi, which is 3.14, times 8 squared. And you can try it in your calculator and you should get 200.96. Now remember, that's the area of the entire circle, and I want to know just the shaded sector, which is 1/4 of the circle. So if 200.96 is the entire circle, I could divide that by 4 because there's 4 parts in the circle, and I want to know the area of just one. So I could just divide that area by 4 in the calculator, and that's going to give me 50.24. each of those 4 sections is going to have an area of 50.24, and of course that's square inches. So that's one way of doing this. I could divide by 4 because there's 4 parts and I want the area of just one of them. The other way is I notice that this is a fourth of a circle, so I could figure out what is 1/4 of the entire area. And so I'm going to use my calculator to type in 1/4 of means to multiply, and I multiply by 200.96. Now, instead of 1/4, you could always type in 0.25, but if you type in the fraction 1/4 and multiply, you're also going to get 50.24. And that's square inches inside the shaded section. So 2 ways of doing this. I could find the entire area and divide it by 4 because it's broken into 4 parts, or I could find 1/4 of the entire area by multiplying on the calculator. Whichever way makes more sense to you. You kind of get to pick what you want to do here, what makes more sense. Okay, let's try a third one. This time we've got multiple sections of our circle shaded. We see that the circle is broken into 3 equal parts and 2 sections are shaded. So I'm just going to write the fraction 2/3. 2/3 represents our shaded sector. Okay, looks like we're given radius on this one. Our radius is 5, which is super helpful because for the area formula, we need the radius. Remember, there's not a formula to find the area of a sector, so we first have to start by finding the area of the whole circle, and then we'll break it up. So area of the whole circle is pi times radius squared, and the radius is given to us, it's 5. So we're going to use our calculator. Pi times 5 squared. Calculator is going to say 78.5. You want to double check your calculator says the same thing. Now remember, that's the area of the entire circle, and I don't want the entire circle. I want 2/3 of the circle. So remember, I've got 2 ways of doing this. Now be careful with this way with division, because I see that the circle is broken up into 3 equal parts. But you have to understand that if you divide by the 3 parts that the circle's broken into, your calculator is going to give you 26.1666. It repeats, but that's only one part. This part is 26.16, this part is 26.16, and this part, is 26.16, right? And we want to know 2 shaded parts. We want to know 2/3. So we would have to then add these 2 together or double this answer by multiplying by 2. So you got to be careful when there's more than one part that's shaded. So I kind of think that it might be easiest to use the fraction when there's more than one part shaded. So let's figure out what is 2/3 of the area of the entire circle. So the whole area was 78.5. So we want to know what is 2/3 of 78.5. So in our calculator, we'll type in the fraction 2/3, and we're going to multiply that by 78.5. And that's going to tell us, if you try typing it in with me, 52. And if we round this to the nearest tenth, it would be 0.3. And that will be inches square inches. Now this is the exact same answer that you would get if you added these 2 together or you doubled your answer when you divided by 3. But just be careful with that division. If you like the division, you just have to be careful if there's more than one section shaded. Otherwise, just take 2/3 of the entire circle. Just use the fraction method. Okay, we're going to try one more where we see more than one part shaded. So in number 4, looks like we're given the diameter. And we have a circle here with 3 shaded parts, and they're shaded in purple. Well, of the whole circle, what fraction of it is shaded? Well, you would say 3/4, right? 3/4 of the entire circle is shaded. So that's our sector. Remember, we want to start off by finding the area of the entire circle, and we need radius for that. So if the diameter all the way across the circle is 6, that would mean the radius would be half of that, so the radius is 3. So let's start off by finding the area of the entire circle. Area, pi times radius squared. Remember, radius is 3. Remember, this is going to give us the area of the entire circle. So when we do that, we get 28.26. Now, I don't want the area of the entire circle. I want the area of the shaded part. Now, do you see how this is broken up into 4 parts? You could use division, and if you do that, you'd have to divide by 4. Now, if you did that on the calculator, you're going to get 7.065. Now, when you divide by 4, that's going to tell you the area of each of those little fourths. So this is 7.065, this is 7.065, this is 7.065, and this is 7.065. Okay, but I want the area of all the shaded parts. So I would have to take that 7.065 and I would have to triple it, wouldn't I, to get the area of the shaded section. And you absolutely can do that if you like the division process. The other way of doing it might be easier, and that is seeing that this is 3/4 of a circle. So the shaded part is 3/4 of the entire circle. And the entire circle had an area of 28.26. So let's find what is 3/4 of 28.26. So I'm going to type in my calculator the fraction 3/4 multiplied by 28.26. What is 3/4 of the area of the circle? And calculator is going to tell you 21.195, which if we rounded it to the nearest tenth, that would be about 21.2, and that is inches squared. There's the area of the shaded section, 3/4 of the circle. Now, if you multiplied that 7.06 times 3, you would also get 21.2 square inches. You get the same answer. It's just that it takes a couple more steps to do that. So you may want to use the fraction when you see multiple parts shaded, okay, 3/4 of the circle. Okay, let's go to our summary, kind of summarize what we saw today. So when we found the area of a sector, we had 2 ways of doing it. In your summary, I only want you to write the way that you prefer. So we could either find the area of the whole circle and then divide. And if you liked that process where you divided, remember, you just have to keep in mind if there's more than one part shaded, you have to duplicate your answer. Or you could multiply the whole area by the fraction that is shaded, like 1/4 of the area or 2/3 of the area. I want you to write down in your summary the way that you prefer. So feel free to pause the video to write down your summary. And thank you for joining me for finding area of a sector. Have a great day.